we've got a movie about emojis with an all-star cast. Lots of product placement.
Where am I?
Candy Crush.
Old school bops for mom and dad. And honestly, not much else.
High five!
It's the Emoji Movie, but is it watchable? Thank you, sound effect of people clapping, and welcome everybody to Is It Watchable? I'm your host, Paul. Now, do you love you some animated movies? You do? Well, I just might have the cure for that. When it comes to animated entertainment at the Cineplex, it's hard not to wonder if Hollywood has tossed out the pencils and paints for good. Since 1995's Toy Story, we've gotten a steady and increasing stream of CGI family films. From greats like Shrek, Monsters Incorporated, and the Lego Movie, to garbage like Food Fight, Dougal, and The Nut Job. And while yeah, the bad ones do seem to outweigh the good ones, I don't think that can really be blamed on computer animation. There have always been bad animated movies.
Busting the moves and I'll be busting the rhymes. We'll be busting up laughing cause it's party time.
It probably has more to do with the sheer number of animated films out there, the proliferation of software that enables almost anyone to do it, combined with Hollywood's willingness to make anything into a cartoon. Like a movie about living, breathing emojis, living in a world completely inside of a kid's cell phone. If that just sounds like a thinly veiled way to cash in on kids' love of their mobile devices, consider that Wreck-It Ralph was pretty much about the same thing except with video games instead of apps, and that movie was pretty awesome. Seriously, if you haven't seen it, check it out. This movie, on the other hand... So allow me to set the stage. Alex is a kid who receives a text from Addie, a girl he likes. Inside Alex's phone is an entire world inhabited by digital beings. In the text app, a city called Textopolis is home to walking, talking emojis. By way of voiceover, we're introduced to different emojis and learn that each emoji can only express one thing, like an action or an emotion, which is also their job within the app. Unfortunately, our hero, Gene Meh, struggles with limiting his expression to his officially recognized one, which is indifference, or meh. It's Gene's first day at work in the text app, but his parents aren't so sure he's ready for the big time just yet.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
You're just not ready.
But Gene convinces them that he's got what it takes and is off to orientation, where Smiler, the cleverly named smile emoji, shows everyone how the system works. Essentially, it's a giant mechanical hand that picks from a giant Hollywood Squares panel of emojis. She goes on to talk about how the more popular emojis are in the favorites section and also have access to a special VIP lounge. And that's where we find our comedy relief, the high five emoji, who can no longer get into the VIP area because Alex, the user, now prefers the fist bump emoji. Finally, it's time for Gene's big debut as his parents watch nervously from the bleachers. But which emoji will Alex pick? It's a big decision for a young man, and one he doesn't take lightly.
Alright, Alex is not sure how he wants to play this.
Okay, let's stop here for a second. Movies do this all the time, and not just the bad ones. They have their characters behave completely unrealistically to justify some silly plot or plot point. In this case, because a movie about anthropomorphic emojis probably sounded way better in concept than it did in the writer's room, they want us to believe that kids today place a great deal of importance and put a lot of thought into the perfect emojis to send each other. What? They don't even bother to spell shit right. As I was saying, after agonizing over the perfect emoji to send Addie, Alex finally selects, you guessed it, the meh face. But of course, performance anxiety sets in and Gene can't control his expressions, going crazy until what's ultimately sent is a panic face. This causes a red alert and the control room demands that Gene evacuate his cube. So he leaps out onto the mechanical hand thingy, causing it to go out of control and damaging the emoji cubicles.
If you have expressions other than meh, like you are, is a malfunction.
With Gene being labeled a malfunction, Smiler calls a board meeting to decide his fate. They decide the best thing to do is to delete him using evil-looking antivirus bots. That's a big no for Gene, so he makes a break for it. Meanwhile, High Five successfully sneaks into the VIP area only to get tackled by Gene running from the bots. High Five thinks the bots are after him for sneaking into the VIP area and joins Gene on the run. After they manage to give the bots a slip, High Five takes them through a secret passage that leads to the Loser's Lounge, a place where forgotten emojis hang out. There, High Five learns that the bots were actually after Gene and suggested they go in search of a hacker to fix Gene and help High Five get back into the favorite section. So the two leave Textopolis and the text app altogether, ending up on the phone's wallpaper walking between the app icons. As they poke their heads into different icons, we're subjected to blatant plugs for various apps like WeChat, Facebook, Crackle, and others. Back in Textopolis, Gene's parents conclude that Gene must have skipped town and decide to leave the app and look for him. Next, Gene and High Five arrive at a piracy app that looks like a tough-looking bar where they find Jailbreak, the hacker they were searching for. While trying to convince her to help them, the bots show up and the three escape through a secret passage that drops them into Candy Crush because the filmmakers have no soul. Unfortunately, Gene gets stuck in one of the Candy Crush levels and Jailbreak and High Five have to play the game to get him out. Back out in the real world, Alex finally gets up the nerve to ask Addie out, but just as he's doing so, the Candy Crush game's audio is heard, making it so he's unable to talk to her, I guess.
See you later, Alex.
Sugar Crush.
Alex is frustrated that his phone is ruining his love life, so he makes an appointment to get everything wiped clean. Meanwhile, inside the phone, Jailbreak and High Five manage to rescue Jean, while in Textopolis, the news of Alex's upcoming appointment has everyone in a panic. So the plan is for our three heroes to make their way to Dropbox, where they can get uploaded to the cloud, where they can find source code to reprogram Jean and High Five.
Before they let us into the cloud, we have to get past this firewall. The firewall uses face identification.
Yep.
Over at YouTube, Jean's parents realize that they're being followed by the bots and decide to distract them with a cute cat video so they can slip away. To avoid the bots, Jailbreak and the guys use a secret tunnel to the Just Dance app where this happens.
Here. And no matter what, we can't turn it on.
Gee, this turned it on!
How many movies do we have to sit through where a character announces that all they have to do is not push a button, or not pull a lever, or not make a noise, or not do any number of other things, only for a wacky comedy relief to come in and do that very thing? And why does Hollywood continue to think that a character that spends the entire movie ruining everything or nearly getting everyone killed is somehow lovable because they tell some funny jokes? So now they have to, you guessed it, play their way out. But things don't look good for our hero since Jailbreak can't dance. Luckily, Jean has such great moves that he invents a dance called the Emoji Pop that is so infectious, Jailbreak is miraculously able to get her groove on. But as the dancing heats up, Jailbreak's true identity is revealed. She's actually a princess emoji who ran away in an attempt to reach the cloud so she can be free of the princess stereotype. Then, as if all the dancing wasn't exciting enough, the antivirus bots show up, and to everyone's surprise, those guys can cut a rug. Outside the phone, Alex is sitting in class when the Just Dance app starts making noise, so instead of, muting the volume, he deletes the entire app. Now our guys have to escape as the app is deleting around them. Jailbreak and Jean make it, but because High Five was busy being a dumbass, he's not so lucky. So High Five and the antivirus bots are sent to the trash along with the rest of the Just Dance app. Jailbreak, probably thinking their chances of escaping just increased 1000%, wants to keep moving, but Jean, of course, wants to go rescue High Five. Back in the Textopolis boardroom, Smiler decides to use an illegal upgrade to create a super antivirus bot to go after Jean. Next, Jean and Jailbreak are floating peacefully down a Spotify music stream on their way to the phone's trash. It's a pretty romantic boat ride and the two start digging on each other. Over in the trash, High Five is lamenting his fate, as at the end of each day, the trash will be emptied and everything in it will be permanently deleted. But suddenly there's a light from above and Jean and Jailbreak hoist him up and out, leaving everyone else in the trash to die because that's funny, right? Meanwhile, over at Instagram, Jean's father confesses that, like Jean, he too is a malfunction and can make different expressions. This has no bearing on the plot whatsoever. Finally, the guys make it to Dropbox, but just before they can go in, the super antivirus bot shows up and tries to get him with his Doc Ock-like tentacles. But those emojis are crafty ones, and they slide right underneath them and into Dropbox where the bot can't get in because it's a secure app. At the firewall, they try different passwords to get through until finally figuring out that it's the name of the girl Alex likes, Addie. Once they're safely in the cloud, Jean expresses his feelings for Jailbreak and decides not to get reprogrammed and stay the way he is. But sadly, Jailbreak isn't looking for a man.
I'm not just some princess, Jean. Waiting for my prince.
With his feelings crushed, Jean naturally reverts to his programmer-given expression of meh before being dragged back into the phone by the super antivirus bot. Now Jailbreak and High Five need to rescue Jean before he's deleted, so she uses her princess powers to summon the Twitter bird and they hop on. Instead of instantly deleting Jean, the bot brings him back to Textopolis to do it in front of the other emojis and to build in some time for Jailbreak and High Five to swoop in for the inevitable rescue. Which, of course, they do by switching off his power button, causing him to fall and crush Smiler. But the day isn't quite saved yet because remember, out in the real world, Alex is in the process of getting his phone erased. So the emojis hatch a plan to get off one last message to Addie with an emoji so perfect, so amazing, so irresistible that she'll be swept off her feet. Seriously. The plan stupidly works and Alex decides not to have his jacked up phone erased after all, because it sent such an epic emoji. So everyone is saved, the evil Smiler is no longer in charge, and the movie can now end with everyone doing the emoji pop to that Pitbull Christina Aguilera song.
Everybody, the Emoji Pop!
As soon as his parents let him, that kid's gonna upgrade to a new phone, and everyone's gonna die. The Emoji Movie was produced by Sony Pictures Animation, who reportedly won the rights in a bidding war against Warner Brothers and Paramount Pictures. A bidding war. Now, you would think with the critical response this movie received, dismal by the way, that would be a war Paramount and Warner would be okay losing. But, believe it or not, the movie did make money. $217 million worldwide against a $50 million budget, so yeah, it was profitable, and also, what the hell's wrong with people? It could be really easy to blame the subject matter for why this movie is so bad. A movie about emojis. But as I stated earlier, it's really similar to Wreck-It Ralph. And other animated movies have brought to life everything from insects to toys to emotions with great success, so why not emojis? Maybe it just feels like this movie was trying too hard to capitalize on something trendy, which kind of tracks considering it was thrown together in about 2 years out of fear it would become outdated before it was even released. I also mentioned earlier that this movie, like pretty much every other animated feature film nowadays, sports a pretty respectable cast. And while I do like to make fun of good actors in bad movies, I get that it's probably hard to know what the final product's going to be like simply by reading the script. For example, it's well known that the cast of Star Wars didn't exactly have high hopes for that film, and we know how that turned out. Still, Patrick Stewart, he of that classic, powerful, commanding voice, Captain Picard, Professor X, starring as the poop emoji? Anyway, the Emoji Movie. Is it watchable? Yeah, that would be a firm no. In fact, this movie can go straight to hell. After watching this boiling pot of dirty diapers, I will never, ever review an animated movie on this show ever again. You see, unlike bad live-action movies, bad animated movies offer nothing extra to elevate them to something even remotely watchable. There are no hilarious bad special effects. Sure, the animation might not be top-notch, but much like this movie where the animation is pretty pedestrian, modern CGI assures that it'll at least be presentable. There are no laughably bad performances. Even the most uninspired voice acting gets masked by the exaggerated facial expressions of the cartoon characters. No cheap-looking sets, ridiculous costumes, or hardware store props. Nothing. Nothing but a bad, boring, contrived, and derivative paint-by-numbers cartoon that anyone over the age of 10 will find painful to sit through. So if you've heard this movie is horrible and run across it on Netflix thinking you'll check it out for a good laugh, don't. This movie isn't fun, this movie isn't funny, this movie's nothing. It's nothing but a steaming pile of Patrick Stewart. Well, that's it for this episode, thank God. Join me next time and I become the 100 millionth person to review The Room. And if you would, do me a favor, subscribe.